Hello and welcome to the second video in our series of videos on chemical calculations. In the first video, we did an introduction on how to solve problems involving chemical calculations. Okay, so let us do a quick recap. In order for us to solve problems involving chemical calculations, we first write a balance equation. We write down the mole ratio of the reactants to the products. We calculate the number of moles of the given substance. We then use the mole ratio to determine the number of moles of the substance we wish to find, or the unknown. And lastly, we use that number of moles to calculate the mass or the volume of the unknown. Okay, so let us take another example for this set of problems. So number 2, 12 dm cube of carbon dioxide was formed after some calcium carbonate reacted with excess hydrochloric acid. What mass of calcium carbonate was used? Okay, so in this case, we need first of all to actually write down the chemical equation, which is step 1. We write a balanced chemical equation. So we realize that this is a reaction between calcium carbonate and hydrochloric acid. So we know that the reaction between calcium carbonate and hydrochloric acid will produce a salt, carbon dioxide gas, and water. So let's write down. Okay, calcium carbonate reacts with hydrochloric acid to give us calcium chloride plus carbon dioxide plus water. Okay, in order for us to balance this equation, we need to write a 2 in front of the hydrochloric acid. So this is our balanced chemical equation. So we are done with step 1. Now we do step 2. Write down the mole ratio of the reactants and the products. So let's write down the mole ratio here. We can see from the balanced chemical equation that 1 mole of calcium carbonate reacts with 2 moles of hydrochloric acid to give you 1 mole of calcium chloride, 1 mole of carbon dioxide, and 1 mole of water. Okay, so step 2 is done. So let's see step 3. Calculate the number of moles of the given substance. Now what have we been given? We have been given 12 dm cube of carbon dioxide. We have been given 12 dm cube of carbon dioxide. Now in the previous example, we were given the mass of the reactant. This time we are given the volume of the product, but the steps remain the same. We now calculate the mole of carbon dioxide. So we now use the equation involving moles and volume of gases. So we know from this triangle, looking at this triangle, the calculation is the formula is mole is equals to volume of the gas divided by 24 dm cube. Okay, so we use volume over 24. We are given 12 dm cube of carbon dioxide. Divide by 24. This will give us 0.5 mole of carbon dioxide formed. So we have now calculated the number of moles of the given substance. We now use step number 4 to find for us the unknown. Okay, so we use the mole ratio to determine the number of moles of the substance we wish to find. So what is it that we wish to find now? We wish to find the mass of the calcium carbonate used. That means how much calcium carbonate was used in the reaction. Okay. So now we use the mole ratio. We can see from the mole ratio that the mole ratio of calcium carbonate to carbon dioxide is 1:1. So 1 mole of calcium carbonate reacts with 1 mole of carbon dioxide. And therefore, since we know the number of moles of carbon dioxide formed was 0.5, this means that 0.5 mole of calcium carbonate was used in the reaction, since the mole ratio is 1:1. Okay, so we know that the moles of calcium carbonate that reacted was 0.5 mole. Okay, so we have done step number 4, and now we end off by doing step number 5, and we use that number of moles to calculate the mass of the substance that we wish to find, in this case calcium carbonate. So now in order for us to find the mass of the unknown, we use this formula, which is mole is equals to mass over mr. Okay, so now we want to find the mass of calcium carbonate form, and the formula will be mass is equals to moles times mr. So we write down formula, mass is equals to moles times mr. What is the mole of calcium carbonate form reacted is 0.5. We multiply that by the mr of calcium carbonate. So we know that calcium is 40, carbon is 12, and 3 of oxygen means with 3 times 16, and this will give us 0.5 times 100, which will give us a mass of 50 grams. Okay, so 50 grams of calcium carbonate reacted with the excess hydrochloric acid to give us 12 dm cube of carbon dioxide. Okay, so again we can see in these steps that we first start off with writing a balanced chemical equation, which was step number 1. We then write down the mole ratio, which is step number 2. We calculate the mole of the given substance, which is step number 3. We then use the mole ratio to find the mole of the unknown, which is step number 4. And we lastly solve the problem with step number 5. So you can see that this is a very systematic way of solving problems involving chemical calculations. Okay, so I hope this video has been useful for you. Look out for our next video, where we will do more examples on such problems involving chemical calculations. Okay, see you in the next video. Bye.